We're in a religious war. These are not terrorists. They're radical Islamists who are trying to replace our way of life with their way of life. Their way of life is motivated by religious teachings that require me and you to be killed or enslaved or converted. The President of the United States tiptoes around the threats we face, and he is trying to diminish the religious aspect of this war. Why, I don't know.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Before we get to our next guest, Ira Straus, we want to hear from you. Is President Obama handling Islamic terror properly, in your view? Go to newsmax.com/polls and vote now. Newsmax.com/polls. Okay, Executive Director of Democracy International, columnist for National Review, Ira Straus joins us. Hello, Ira.
Hello, Steve.
Great piece. Yeah, go ahead.
Glad to be with you in these troubled times.
Well, they are really troubled times, and one of the aspects is what Lindsey Graham was talking about, and it all starts with identifying the enemy, and as you write about, fighting the enemy. And your column in National Review is titled "Fighting Not to Win."
Right. It would be easy to say that Obama is fighting to lose, and that wouldn't be too far from the truth. But the main thing is that he doesn't like the idea of us winning by our own power. If someone else would win this for us, I don't think he'd mind. But his goal for our power in this war is just to stalemate and prevent the Islamic State from growing stronger. Well, that's a disaster.
Yeah, well, you go back to an ABC News interview he did on Afghanistan during his first term, or maybe when he just started out, and what would victory look like in Afghanistan? He said, I don't like to use the word victory. That was very revealing then, and I think you're right on target. But you also talk about how it's not just a matter of, trying to play or fight ISIS to a draw. In doing so, he's building up ISIS, and he's also emboldening terrorism.
Well, that's absolutely correct. Morale is important in every war. If you're not winning, people will bandwagon against you. But that is 10 times more true in a terrorism war, where you have irregular forces who can come out of nowhere and don't merely do espionage, they wreak havoc and destruction upon opportunity. These people look at it and they say, okay, now's our opportunity. Moreover, they believe that God decides who wins wars. That's a traditional belief prior to modern science. And when Obama tells them that we cannot defeat them militarily, we cannot win, we can only do this over a multi-year period, and forces other than ours will have to win it, they take him at his word. They're not going to scientifically analyze it and say that it's just Obama that doesn't want to fight to win. They'll look and they see the United States smashed the Taliban in 2 months. It smashed Saddam Hussein, a very powerful ruler with very powerful armed forces, in 3 weeks. He was gone. His territorial control was gone. Now, 5 months later, the Islamic State is there undiminished in its territory. That must mean God's on its side. For a believer in that ideology, that's a perfectly logical conclusion. And Obama is not just feeding it by not winning, he's actually feeding them the lines to believe it.
Yeah, and you talk about the what would victory look like, or what would victory mean. In your piece, you talk about how administration officials have been asking, kind of mockingly, what in the world would winning mean, as if they can't do it.
Right. Unfortunately, this is not just a phenomenon of this administration. 50 years ago, there was the same argument, the same sarcasm toward Barry Goldwater. What do you mean by winning the Cold War? What is victory over communism? It's an idea. You can't kill an idea. It's clear that we have a strong subculture in America, in our own elite, that doesn't like the idea of winning. There can be multiple reasons for this. There can even be good reasons for it, but I don't think they're good reasons.
Yeah.
They think they're good reasons. They take it by assumption. They have a psychological and sociological allergy toward our winning, especially by military force, but in any case winning a clear-cut victory over our enemies in the world.
Yeah, and in this case, if we don't cut it off now, the head of the snake, it's going to be more and more difficult and more dangerous. Ira, great piece at nationalreview.com. Everybody check it out, Fighting Not to Win. Ira Straus. We'll speak to you soon, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right, folks. Up next, We're going to talk to Newsmax Deputy Health Editor and Meet the Doctors contributor, Nick Tate, and we're going to talk about tomorrow's episode of Meet the Doctors. You're not going to want to miss it. Don't go away.